Christ was brilliant. Do you know how brilliant he was? Do you know that he only left one ritual? Do you remember I said about food the other day that every time you eat food, you can't separate the food from the hypnotic suggestion that's buried into it? See?
Right.
You can't. Every time you eat something, your conscience disappears. You feel comfort. Instead of feel conflict, you feel comfort. And this comforted person goes on to live longer and become wronger.
How does one know when to stop eating then?
Well, listen to what I'm saying. If you let me finish the point,
No, sure.
the answer will come.
Okay.
Yeah, but answer the question if it's not complete in a minute.
Okay.
Now, Christ knew that the separation from God to be one's own God had something to do with food. Forbidden fruit. Of all the trees of the fruit, a garden you can eat, except the knowledge of the good, the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, you may not. For each day you shall eat, your eyes shall be opened, and you shall become as gods, knowing good from evil, right? Something like that. And the inner eye is closed, the outer eye is open, and we become sensual, and who we are comes from more and more knowledge, more and more food, more to support the rebellion, to put the conscience to sleep, to awaken out the sense of who we are, to fulfill who we are, to give motivation, to reinforce the suggestions that we can really be. See what I mean? Mm-hmm. Now, but Christ was a very conscious being. He knew that every time people ate, they reinforced, no matter how humble the food. They could not help but put their conscience to sleep, and they were forever separated from the ground of their being. And that's why wise men, they fasted. They didn't fast because it was good for their body. They fasted so they could understand themselves better.
And they fasted so no one else would know. They didn't go around saying, I'm fasting,
well, you
I'm
get
fasting.
pridefulness. You get pride when you get support. But I'm making the point.
Okay.
He only left one ritual.
Okay.
Christ only left one ritual. The church is loaded with rituals, all hypnotic, none of his making. Mm-hmm. Christ was as free as a bird, and nothing is instituted in the church was from him. One ritual: do this, breaking bread, drinking the fruit wine, do this remembering me. You know what? He represented redemption, the message that God is going to reconcile man to himself, right? He really did. Therefore, he carried with him a certain power that if you believed in who he was, then you're going to do what he says, and you're going to believe in what he says. Now, remember, original sin had something to do with doubting God, forgetting your conscience, forgetting the purpose for which you to do your own thing, to become your own God. So it had something to do with forgetting God and remembering yourself as one, right? It's suggestions inherent in food. He said, he knew that every time somebody ate, you try going home and see if you can remember it till you get home, and open the refrigerator, write it on your hand if you like, write it on a piece of paper, stick it in the middle of your forehead, right in front of your nose, and go in the refrigerator and start to eat something. And even though what I'm about to say is written on the you'll forget even to read it. You'll disappear when you eat. Did you know that's the reason why people have to eat so much? It's because only while they're chewing the food, their brain is hypnotized and comforted. You forget the guilt. And when you swallowed it, then the conscience comes back again, and the fat, of course, has a factor in reminding you that you've done something wrong and foolish, and it doesn't look good on your pride. But then you have to eat again. Why? Because it anesthetizes your conscience and comforts you again.
May I ask something, please?
And it fills you with the wrong spirit. I haven't finished the point yet. I know. Forgive me. Do you see what Christ did, though? Understanding this, he said, eat this remembering me. That is a very counter-hypnotic. It is, it's counter-hypnotic. It breaks the spell of the suggestion. If you can eat food and eat it quietly, eat simple food, not stimulating food, not specially spiced food, which is all designed to enhance the hypnotic value of things.
Thank you.
Follow that?
Yes.
It's got to be simple food, and if you eat it, being conscious of what you eat. The purpose of food, eating food, is to be unconscious, to take you away from conscious. That's the only way it's going to give you comfort. If it can poison your conscience, see, anesthetize your conscience, and that's why it has to be more elaborate, more stimulated, and that's why we're getting bigger and fatter and uglier, because we're eating not for our bodies, but to anesthetize the soul. And the more you do that, the more you anesthetize the soul, the more you're rejecting the truth. You're using the food salvation rather than the salvation. And every time you use the food salvation, you're rejecting. It's almost like you're reenacting the same scene in the garden. I don't want to admit I'm wrong. See? I don't want to hear what you have to say. I'll feel okay.